This tree is a Picea abies, which is a spruce. Very cheap nursery stock material. I paid about 10, 12 US dollars for this plant. This is challenging material, especially the beginning, because there's no tree here yet, right? It's just a bush in a big pot. We'll try to make a first bonsai design out of this today. Today is step one. It's fall right now, so it's a good time to work on this kind of material in early fall. We'll wire, we'll prune today, and that's it. No repotting, not doing too much stuff at the same time, because I want to keep the momentum of the tree going. So pruning is where we begin, and before we can really decide anything about the structure of this tree, we'll need to clean it up a bit. So I'm gonna prune all this dead foliage using scissors. Also probably take it out of the pot or take part of the pot off, just so that I can start to see where the trunk begins and where the first roots appear. So that way I can see the trunk and decide where I want to keep my first branches. So there's a few steps that you need to follow for styling this kind of material, and it starts with cleaning the tree, figuring out where the trunk is, pruning, wiring, setting a branch in position, and eventually repotting. So let's begin with cleaning the tree. Like I said, I just take the top layer off until the first roots start to appear. And this kind of material is really fun to work with. You can get it in many places. A spruce or perhaps a juniper or that kind of young material, which isn't very expensive. But it is challenging to style, but a lot of fun as well. So let's see. Now I'll start scissoring away all the dead foliage. I can see it well here from underneath the tree. And once I get rid of all the dead stuff, we'll start evaluating the tree and start making the decision-making process for which branches to keep and which ones to prune away. All right, so finished cleaning the tree, and it's still a little bit hard because we can't see all that much, but immediately there's a few branches that are just growing too low on the trunk. I want to be able to see a trunk before the first branches appear. So the two branches that are growing super low, this one as well as this one, I'm just going to prune away. I don't need to think much about it. It's just too low on the trunk. So let's take those out. I'll leave a little stump. Perhaps we can make a gin out of those. All right. And then I'll remove this lower branch as well. All right. We start seeing a little bit of the trunk. And then there's another issue which is quite clear as well. There's a big branch here, which could be our first main directional branch. And straight above it is another branch. I'm not sure if you can see it well, but it's right here. So just growing above each other, same thickness. I can't use them both, so I'm gonna remove the one just growing slightly above it. So this could be the first main branch, but we could also prune it away and use, for example, this branch as the first branch. I'll study the tree a little bit more and then make up my mind. So as you work on similar material at home, just make sure that you really get a good idea of the tree. So keep rotating it, keep looking at it in different angles. You don't need to plant it like this. You can plant it like that or like that. So you just need to start to understand the structure of the tree. And the cleaning that we did just before really helps with that, because you start going through the tree, cleaning all of that stuff, and you start to feel or to develop an understanding of the structure of the tree. And then you can start making decisions. And the decision-making process, really you're just looking for a first directional branch. So is it this one or is it this one? Okay, if I use this one, what could be the main second branch, so somewhere on the other side of the tree, and the back branch, and that way you just circle around the tree making these kind of decisions. And if you're not sure, don't remove anything, just start making up your mind for what could be a next branch, and then eventually you'll figure out if this one has to go, or if you want to keep it in your design.
On some places on the trunk there are too many branches, so we will remove a few of these. We also remove dangling growth to prepare the tree for wiring. Deciding on the design of a bonsai isn't always easy, especially when a tree is as full and overgrown as this plant. Try to apply the pruning guidelines we just mentioned to your own trees. And if you are interested to learn more about these techniques, consider enrolling in one of our online bonsai courses. Here, expert teachers explain the relevant techniques, and you can ask them questions. For a free lesson, go to bonsaiempire.com/courses.
All right, almost done with pruning the tree. As you can see, we really took off a lot of foliage. So I think you're now looking at about 30% of the foliage that remains on the tree, which is totally fine. The tree will be fine, especially because we're not touching the roots at the same time. I think there's one more decision to make. So this is clearly my directional branch. I'll bend the trunk a little bit away from there. So this might make a nice back branch. This one, so there's two branches here growing over each other, and I'm thinking of removing this one and using this one actually. So this one I'm going to remove. And then use this branch and bring it down a bit. This is too big now, so I'll just shorten it a bit. And I think for pruning, this is about as far as I want to go today. So the next step is wiring. So putting wire around the branches enables me to set them in a new position, and I can also add some movement into the branches by making slight S-curves. Not too much, but a little bit, just to reduce the size of the branches. That's all that I would do for now.
Try to select pairs of branches that are more or less of the same thickness, and wire these with one piece of wire. Start with wiring the main branches, and slowly work your way up the tree. Smaller and thinner branches need a thinner wire as well.
All right, I finished wiring the tree. All the branches have been wired, so I can really put them in the position that I envision. You're looking more or less at the front of the tree from this angle. So this is the main branch. All these branches will have to come down a little bit, and I'll add some movement in them as well. That's pretty much it. So we're almost done. Setting them in position, putting in the movement, and then I'll protect the tree during winter. It can take a little frost, so I'll definitely keep it outside, but if there's a few nights in midwinter that are very, very cold, I might protect this by putting it in an unheated room, for example, during the night. In the next spring, so about 6 months from now, I'll place this in a small bonsai pot and perhaps do a little pruning then, but at least for the next 6 months the tree can recover and then it's ready for the repotting. I could do the repotting now and I think the tree would be fine, but you do slow down the process and the progress of this tree because you kind of lose the momentum. So by doing only pruning and wiring now and repotting later, the strength of the tree and the momentum keeps going much faster, so you actually save time by doing a little bit less today. So in 6 months from now you'll see this being repotted, very close to the finished design that I had in mind for the tree.
Learn how to create your own bonsai trees by enrolling in one of our online bonsai courses. We explain techniques like pruning, wiring and repotting, and you can ask questions to the teachers. For the curriculums and free lessons, go to bonsaiempire.com/courses.